Hey, this washing machine is a little loud. I hope you can't hear it. That always so loud in my ear. It's not overpowering my voice here. Move this a little bit. Alrighty. So again, like I discussed, I came on here. I did the whole reading over lunch 2 days ago, and then it just disappeared the way that it was set up, and I went back and it just deleted the whole thing. So great. We're gonna just go into it again. I don't know if anybody even saw it, maybe like one person. So that person gets to see this twice. And I'll probably say different things because it's not too much consistency, but get as much of the information out as I can. So this quote here, it's called, I inherited it brick and left it marble. This is of the city of Rome from Emperor Augustus 63 BC AR 14. Yes, I'm not sure about the time frame there, but it's I inherited it brick and left it marble. We might have heard that before. Sounds a little bit familiar. But what I had mentioned before, this is exactly what God was doing to the people, or Moses and Aaron, what they were doing to the people. They inherited these people, broken, distraught, wayward. They didn't really know what was going on or what they were doing, or, they believed in God, right? But they weren't super devoted, I guess you could say. They didn't have they didn't have really great, fantastic guidance. They were just kind of lost, right? Being enslaved and everything like that. Just kind of not as hopeful as they wanted to be. So they came in brick and they left marble. So with these new offerings that they have established within the Israelite church, the foundations of a church, they're really leaving marble. They're cleansing themselves, not only themselves, but their community and the surrounding areas too. They're cleansing kind of all the people with their offerings that they're performing, cleansing the mind and the spirit. And we're going to talk a little bit about cleansing the body. So if you want to be, as perfect and stone cold as a statue, you have to cleanse the body, cleanse the mind, cleanse the spirit. Let's learn about cleansing the body and a little bit more about the priesthood that is being established here. So let's start out with chapter 8. He put the tunic on Aaron, tied the sash around him, clothed him with the robe, and put the ephod on him. He also fastened the ephod with a decorative waistband, which he tied around him. All right, so again, this is Aaron and his sons are the task of priests. They are assigned the task of being the priests and performing these offerings that we had talked about last time. Let's see. But the bull with its hide and its flesh and its intestines he burned up outside the camp, as the Lord commanded Moses. Put all these in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and they waved them before the Lord as a wave offering. Moses said to Aaron, come to the altar and sacrifice your sin offering and your burnt offering, and make atonement for yourself and the people. That is for the people, and make atonement for them as the Lord had commanded. He also brought the grain offering, took a handful of it, and burned it on the altar, in addition to the morning's burnt offering. So Moses is telling Aaron what to do. Aaron is performing these offerings, and also his sons are not too far away. They're kind of learning the, I would say, craft, but they're learning the trade of these performance of offerings and the offering of offerings. They're learning this trade so his sons can go ahead and partake and carry out this once Aaron is gone. So it was Aaron and his lineage. They tried to do an offering, I think his sons, but they kind of messed up a little bit and had some of the offering. They ate it outside of the sanctuary area. Yes, baby. A little meow meow this morning. They ate it outside of the sanctuary area. So God was a little bit upset and said this, why didn't you eat the scent offering in the sanctuary area? It is most holy. It was given to you to take away the guilt of the community by making atonement for them before the Lord. So interesting. Yes, it's for not just for you as the priest, it's for the community. So it needs to be done in a sacred manner. So the Lord was upset with them that they didn't follow the procedure that was established. And it had me thinking last night, just by willy-nilly and distraction, I burnt some pizza in the oven. And it was like interesting because it was burnt not on the bottom, but it was burnt on the top, like the cheese and the beef salami and the jalapeno. It was all just kind of dark brown. I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and turn the oven off but leave the pizza in there so it would stay warm, because I just wasn't ready to eat it. I got distracted on the phone. The nice wafting aroma of the pizza in the oven was kind of satisfying. So I just left it there. Didn't think it was going to burn up, right, because I turned the oven off. No, so the top was burnt. It was like kind of inedible, but I tried a little piece. I'm like, oh, it's kind of good. It was only like 2 slices. It was just something I was reheating. Like, it's kind of good. I might eat it. It's kind of like my night snack. I have a snack around like 9 or 10 in the bed because I'm watching TV and trying to like dull myself enough to go to sleep. So I took it in the room and I'm like, this is like a burnt offering. Interesting. I'm like, why am I even eating it in the room? Like, I just made this whole story up in my head. Like, I'm like, this is like the burnt offering. I was distracted. I was, being gluttonous. All of this stuff. I should just go eat it in the kitchen and be done with it, just so I don't have to get up later and make it a respectful thing. So because I went over this just a few days ago, I was like thinking of that in my head. I'm like, let me just go eat it in the kitchen and just be silent and not have the TV on and just kind of enjoy my burnt top of the pizza and then offer the rest to the trash can. That's just where my mind goes sometimes, but I barely burn food, so it was just kind of an interesting thing. But yes, anyways, sanctify, right? Sanctify anything you can. Like, of course we have God or Jesus who has cleansed us of our sins of the past and our sins to come, but there's always a good time to make something sacred for yourself, right? Make something ceremonial, make something sacred. There's always a reason for it. Let's just put it that way. There's never not a reason for it. Okay, so lastly, we're just going to discuss a few kosher laws that also resonate with the laws of Islam and food being halal versus haram. So haram is not what you're supposed to do. Halal is what you're supposed to do and eat and consume to put in your body. Same with kosher. There's certain foods that you're to eat and put into your body, and there's certain foods that you shouldn't. Just off of the pure fact of cleanliness and making sure that the food that you put in your body is not going to provide any unnecessary toxins. So it says you may eat an animal that has a divided hoof and that chews the cud. So cows are okay. Cows are good. There are several other animals that have a divided hoof and chew the cud. If you want to look up a chart about that, there is a chart on Google Images. And what it means to chew the cud, it means that the cow or what have you has a second stomach, and they kind of like regurgitate the food and then digest it twice, if that makes sense. So they're chewing what was already chewed before just to kind of get it all ground up and easy to digest in the future. So that's what's important. It's just like they're doing the extra work, so we might as well eat those animals to avoid any unnecessary toxins. This says here, and the pig, though it has a divided hoof, it does not chew the cud. It is unclean for you. So again, Islam still follows these laws. Jewish people still follow these laws. Apparently, like later in the Bible, maybe we'll find out all animals were okay. They basically said later, like, oh, you can eat anything. Later on, I haven't gotten to that point yet, so I don't know for sure. That's just what somebody said. There's a certain book where it says that God then allows all animals, but at this time, this was not okay, right? You can't eat pigs. You cannot eat birds of prey. You cannot eat animals that have paws. Also, you cannot eat any fish that doesn't have scales. So that means no crawfish, no crustaceans, no mollusks, things like that, things that are the most delicious and hard to avoid on those special occasions. But yes, no, because they're scavengers, right? The toxins that they eat up are not good for us to consume. We want to prolong our lives. So yeah, just something to think about. Of course, it goes on. The little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, no good. All of the animals that walk on all fours, those that walk on their paws, are unclean for you. Whoever touches their carcasses will be unclean until the evening. If a carcass falls on any seeds that are to be planted, they remain clean. So that's interesting. They remain clean, but it said later, if water is on the seeds and the carcass falls on the seeds, then it's not clean because the water is breaking down the outer portion of the seed. Just goes on here. You must distinguish between unclean and the clean, between living creatures that may be in those, that may be eaten, and those that may be not eaten. So, I know I'm rushing a little bit, you guys, but that is kind of the gist of it. I mean, this is where we get the kosher laws, like I said, and this is where we get the laws of Islam when it comes to eating halal food. As you know, the Jewish religion is based off of the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible, so that's why they still abide by these laws. With Islam, it's a little bit different. It's just, taking the ways of old and still reincorporating them just to make sure their bodies are clean, because if your bodies are not clean, your spirit's not going to be clean, and you won't be able to perform in the best way. But of course, some things die off. I don't know what was said in the Bible later that permits everything. And of course, there's different cultures that incorporate pork and everything. Times have changed, obviously. We don't judge. We're working on not judging other people for their decisions. It's not necessary, right? You do what's right for you, and then you leave everything else alone. It's not necessarily inherently good or bad ever. There's just certain guidelines that we are to follow. All right, my phone is being blown up. I will get off of here, start my day, and God bless you guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you a little bit later. Bye-bye.